Hello everyone, hopefully today I can help you to complete the Spanish passenger locator form. So on top of completing the form, you are going to need some other things. You can find out what you need to travel to Spain by checking out my last video up here. Alternatively, it will be linked down below. And then finally, the link where you can access the passenger locator form will also be linked down below. Any questions, feel free to comment them below, or alternatively, you can reach out to me on any of my socials here. And so with that, let's get on to the video. So onto the Spanish passenger locator form, or I think they also call it the SpTH or something. So you're going to find the link. You can find this from my recent YouTube video on how to travel to Spain with current restrictions. And then that link is if you're arriving by aeroplane. If you're arriving by ferry, then you want to click go to SpTH Maritime. If you're flying in, then just click continue here. So Spain's form is quite nice. You can either fill out an individual form for yourself, or if you're traveling in a family or a group, you can fill out a form together, which is quite helpful, especially if you have children. And then you can save them and come back to them later, so you can find them down there. Obviously, I'm an individual, so I'm just going to click individual. And then it's going to take you to the form. So on the right, you just have like a load of information, and then a load of questions at the bottom, legal stuff. So, passenger data, obviously your surname, you're going to want to put your last name. Your name, you're going to put your first name. And then you're going to fill in your passport number or national ID, whatever you're travelling on. And then you're going to want to input your flight number. So, I just chose a random flight that arrives in tomorrow. So it's a Ryanair flight. So I put in the Ryanair flight number. And the arrival date was tomorrow. I then put in my email address and confirmed my email address. Scroll down, then you're going to check here if your final destination is not Spain. So this is if you're transiting through Spain. So if you have like a layover or a stopover in Spain, you click that. And then the next one is if you're filling this form in for a minor or a dependent person. So I'm neither of those, so I'm just going to leave them blank, not tick them. So once you've filled all that in, then you're going to scroll down. You're then going to click I am human. So then you're just going to click yes, that you've read the information and understand it and that you accept the terms. And then you're going to click send. And then this pop-up here is just basically telling you that you're only going to be able to edit your name from now on. So your flight number, your email address, and your passport number is going to be locked in. You won't be able to change those. So I suggest you make sure that those are correct. You can click review it, and then if they are correct, you can click continue afterwards. And then this is like if you want to register. So I just clicked continue. So then you're going to get to this page. So then you're going to have to put your passport number in again, or your national ID, whichever one you put in on the last page. And then you're going to need to check your email, and you're going to have been sent a security code. Then where it says security code, you're going to want to enter that. Mine was a 6-digit number, and the email looked something like this. And then press continue. So then we're on to personal information. So your first name and your last name should have already been filled in for you. It should have recognized it from the last page. You can edit this. You're then going to want to choose your sex, so whether you're male or female. So your passport number is filled in for you. You can't actually edit this now, like it said at the end of the first page. And then your personal mobile phone number, you have to put that in. Make sure you choose the prefix, so the first 1 or 2 numbers before your actual phone number. So the UK is +44. It will let you search it, so you can search GB and it will come up with the +44 and do that for you, and then you just take the 0 off. Other countries, obviously put your country's prefix in and then put your phone number in. And then the next part is if you want to use another telephone number, but you don't have to. And then underneath your email is also locked in, so you won't be able to change that. And then you're going to want to put in your date of birth. And then underneath that, you're going to put in your permanent address. So that is where you currently live in the country that you're living in at the moment. So you're going to have to put your house number in and your street or your apartment number. And then you're going to choose your country, your state or provenance, your city, and then your zip or postcode. And then once you've filled all the ones out with the asterisk next to it, then you can click save and continue. So then it's going to take you to the next page. This is your flight information. So the flight number that you entered previously will be locked in, as well as your arrival date, so you're not able to change those. From your flight number, it should recognise what airline you're flying. So FR is Ryanair, which is correct. I'm flying Ryanair. If it doesn't recognise your flight number or it doesn't have an airline, then you can just go down and select your airline from the drop-down menu and you can search too. And then the seat number. Now, I know not many airlines give you seat numbers. Most will designate you one within 24 hours before your flight. So it does say you don't have to enter one now. You can save this form and then come back to it once you have a seat number. So I would advise you to make sure you have a seat number. If not, just honestly enter a random one. I don't think it's going to be that big of a deal. I just picked a random one, 22A. Don't ask me why I picked that number. It just random. And then you're going to put in where you will be staying. So you need the address of the hotel, the villa, the house, whatever of where you're going to be staying. It wants just the first place that you will visit. So I just searched up hotels in Alicante and chose like the first one that came up. So you can just find the address probably on the hotel website, or you can just find the address on Google. So you're going to want to put in the name of the hotel. Obviously, if you're staying in a hotel, if you're staying in like a villa or something, you don't have to put the name. You can leave it blank. And then the street and the number. It doesn't let you use like commas or full stops, so you're going to have to take those out. Apartment number if you're staying in an apartment. And then the region / autonomous city. This can be a bit challenging. So Alicante isn't actually the region or autonomous city. So what I did to find out is I just typed into Google, what region is Alicante in? And then it's going to come up. Then you can see there under Wikipedia, it is in the Valencian community. Autonomous community is Valencian community. So I was going to type in Valencian and then it came up with Comunitat Valenciana. Probably not going to be speaking Spanish anytime soon. But then the provenance. So then the hotel is actually in Alicante, and so the city and town is also Alicante. And then the zip code. And then if you're staying in only this address through your whole stay, I'm just going to click yes. So then you're going to get to your travel history. So you're going to want to indicate the country of origin of your trip to Spain. So where are you travelling from? I'm going to be travelling from the UK. And then the area you're starting your trip. So I'm just going to choose the east of England because that's where I live. And then it wants to know if you've been in any other countries or if you've passed through them in the last 14 days. If you have, you can put in all the countries you've been to from the drop downs below. And if you run out of space, you can click add country. If you haven't been through any other countries, then just scroll down and it's going to want your reason for your trip. So I'm assuming the most common option is tourism, but if not, it gives you other options. Then you can click save and continue. So then it wants to confirm where your country of origin is. So, like I said, I put in the UK because that's where I'm from. That's where I would be travelling from. So I'm just going to hit yes. So then you have this health questionnaire. So to get into Spain, you're going to either need to be fully vaccinated or you're going to need proof of recovery. So you're going to have to attach your COVID certificate. So you're going to have to select from one of these options below. If you are in the EU and you have a EU digital COVID certificate, then obviously click the top one. If you have an equivalent digital COVID-19 certificate recognised by the EU, then you can click the second option. it gives you a link where you can check the list of countries with this certificate. So if you have a certificate from one of these countries, then obviously tick the second option. So any of these countries, the UK is on there, so I'm going to click the second option. So I do have an equivalent digital COVID-19 certificate. And then obviously if you have an other certificate, then you're going to click that last option. And I believe you will have to enter all the details manually. So for this next part, you're going to need either a picture or a scan of your COVID vaccine or your proof of recovery certificate. So from the UK, we have an app with the NHS, and on there it has our COVID passes. Under travel passes, it gives us a QR code. So I screenshotted that and then I emailed it to myself to get it onto my laptop and then attached that. So what you're going to want to make sure is if you've only had 2 doses of the vaccine, obviously make sure that you're within those 270 days since the last dose. If you are, then just attach your second dose. You don't need to attach the first dose, just the second one. It's your most recent, basically. And then obviously if you've had the booster, then you're going to attach your booster screenshot. So I just screenshotted the QR code from my booster. I emailed it to myself and attached that. So I'll show you what I attached. On the NHS pass, above your QR code, it's going to have your name and your date of birth, and then it's going to have the QR code and it's going to say booster. So what I screenshotted contained all of that information, and then I attached that. And then it's going to ask you for the reason of the certificate, vaccination, diagnostic test, or recovery. So mine is vaccination. You can only enter with a negative test if you are an EU citizen. If you're not an EU citizen, then you will have to have either proof of recovery or a vaccination. So then you're only going to need to select that last box if you're not able to upload the file or your equivalent digital COVID certificate. So if you're having trouble uploading it, then click that button, and I think you'll have to do it manually. If you do enter the details in manually, then it will have to be validated when you arrive in Spain. If you were able to attach a screenshot, then you're going to want to click validate certificate, and it should validate it pretty quickly. Like mine literally did it in like 2 seconds. And then you're going to save and continue. And then you just want to make sure this data is correct, because you're not going to be able to change it when you press continue. So yes, I'm sure this data is correct. And then the last step is just basically saying that if you do develop symptoms or whatever, that you will isolate for 7 days. So yeah, you just want to agree to that. So you're going to indicate for acceptance, tick that box, and then you can click end process. And that's it. You have completed the form. So it's going to give you an option for a PDF format or wallet format. If I was you, I would download the PDF format, save it and print it out. You can also add it to your wallet if you're doing this on your phone, which is also very handy. And finally, they will send you an email with this. So whatever happens, you should easily be able to access it. One thing to note is this form is free. I have read a couple of reports of people saying that it wants to charge them like 20 euros or something. If it asks you for payment, then that is a scammed website. So make sure you are on the correct website. It will be linked below on this video, or you can find it from my other Spain video. So yeah, just make sure that you don't get scammed. Make sure you are filling it out from the official website. And then this is what your form should look like. Obviously, I've blacked out some information. Just make sure you have that and all the information that you need, which can be found on my previous video. So make sure you check that out if you're not sure on what you need. And yeah. Thank you all so much for watching. If this did help, I would really appreciate it if you could give it a like and if you could subscribe. Also, follow me on all of my socials. And like I said, feel free to comment any questions you may have. Thank you all for watching. Stay safe and happy travelling.